What's up, agents? Jetforth here, and here is the Negotiator's Dilemma PVE build. Now, before we get started into the full build, there's a few things I want to say. After sleeping on it and mowing this over, I'm going to make a second version of this build that's probably more feasible to build, not using the pestilence and not using nothing but named gear on it. Either way, this is still a very powerful build even without using named items, but I do feel like it can be improved upon and more feasible to make, if you will. However, instead of doing all those changes, since I already posted gameplay of this build trouncing through Jefferson Trade Center like it was nothing, I'm just going to go ahead and post this full build. But we are going to fly through it because there really isn't a whole lot to it. But that is all I have to say for now, and I will try and get up the other version of this build either tomorrow or on Thursday, depending on how things go. Because I am down to about 8 ceramics, and in order for me to do anything, I gotta actually play the game instead of just sitting here making builds. Who would have thought? But if you could, hit the like button, that would be awesome. Let's get into it, shall we? For our specialization, which we are forced into using to activate Negotiator's Dilemma, is the Demolitionist for the plus 25% increased explosive damage, as well as having our ammo refilled every time our armor breaks, because that will be going on a lot. And then all the other fun stuff that this comes with. On to weapons, which we will be using the Pestilence. Now, if you don't have the Pestilence, you can use any old LMG or anything you really want, but I would suggest an LMG because they are still really powerful. More powerful than ARs, if you will. Anyways, as for the Pestilence, we're mainly just using it for Plague of the Outcast. After hitting the same enemy 5 times, that enemy is inflicted with Plague of the Outcast for 10 seconds. Whenever an enemy with Plague of the Outcast is killed, they leave a toxic cloud for 5 seconds that deals 1000 weapon damage per second for anyone inside and inflicts them with Pestilence, which Pestilence just debuffs them, but we're not really using that a whole lot, just mainly for Plague of the Outcast. On to our secondary, which I am most likely going to switch to a shotgun. Which one, I don't know yet, but I'm going to. But for this, I'm using a Model 700 with Spike, headshot kills grant plus 35% skill damage for 20 seconds, and then Rooted, which this is mainly what you want here. While equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. Buff is lost when exiting cover, can occur once per 60 seconds. Now, we are not spending a lot of time in cover at all with this build, but when we need to heal up, this does actually come in rather handy, so you do definitely want this on your build. As for our sidearm, I am using a D50, the same old I always use. We just mainly want in rhythm here. While equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldown, can occur once every 60 seconds. And this is just for our seekers, really, so that's it for the weapons. On to armor, which for the mask, this is the first piece of Negotiator's Dilemma we will be using, which we will only be using 3 pieces of, which will unlock 30% explosive resistance and then mainly blowback. Launch a grenade at the target that depleted your armor, can occur once every 3 seconds. Requires Demolitionist specialization. I will say though, this is kind of overpowered and is a lot of fun to use, especially with Unbreakable. For the attributes, I have plus 24,000 health and 484 skill power. This also comes with 1 defensive mod slot. Onto the chest piece, which I am using the 0F's Badger Tough for the plus 7% damage to elites. Attributes, plus 20,000 health, plus 22% armor, plus 7% weapon damage. Talents, perfectly unbreakable. 100% of max armor is repaired when your armor is depleted. Armor kits used within the next 7 seconds are not consumed, can occur once every 60 seconds. Requires 11 or more offensive, and then this piece has 1 offensive mod slot and 1 defensive mod slot. On to the holster, which is our second piece of Negotiators. This fun piece comes with 18,000 health and plus 807 skill power. As for the mod slots, it comes with a defensive mod slot and a utility mod slot. So I'm sure you are seeing by now I am stacking nothing but health and seeker skill power. Next up, we have the backpack, which is the percussive maintenance. Geez, why didn't anybody tell me to learn how to read in my previous videos? Which comes with plus 20% skill haste, attributes 20,000 health, plus 39% skill haste. Talents, perfect tech support, kills by active skills and explosive grant plus 30% damage for 10 seconds, requires a 6 or more, and hard hitting, plus 25% damage to elites, which honestly I was kind of at odds with not using destructive over hard hitting, but in the long run, it helped more because we're out of cover so much that I was more worried about taking down elites than having to deal with veterans or the red guys. Generally, the Seekers would take care of those rather easily, and then most of the time I was just dealing with taking down elites, I guess, if you will. And this wonderful backpack comes with 2 utility mod slots, which again, I am just stacking heavily into Seeker skill power in both of those slots. And next up, we have the gloves, which we will be using, the BTSU gloves. And in all honesty, at this point, do I really need to read out what these things do? I mean, do I? So we're gonna kind of skip the description on these. The BTSU gloves comes with 2 utility and 1 offensive. Again, I'm just stacking into health and into Seeker skill power here. And finally, the knee pads, which is our third and final piece of Negotiator's Dilemma. Attributes, 15,645 armor. This comes with 2 mod slots, 1 defensive, 1 utility. Again, I am just stacking health and as much Seeker skill power as possible. As for our skills, I am using the Reinforcer Chem Launcher with 1 +3 ammo mod on it, giving us 6 overall, which in all honesty, you really aren't going to be using that much, but it's good to have. And then this one little baby mod that I have, because I don't have anything else, which gives me plus 53.7% heal, which is actually really good, especially mixed with rooted. As for the Seeker mods, I am using 1 with plus 5 extra cluster mines, so giving us a total of 8. A mini electric motor with 156.7% skill haste. And finally, a magnetic disc giving us 147.6% skill haste. So that is pretty much it for this build. Overall, when everything adds up, we're running 211.9, 21.8k primary damage, 272.1k armor, 144.4k health, which the health part is what you really want to pay attention to. You want high health because our armor is going to be consistently breaking and you want that to fall back on. Because there are times where you will purposely break your armor just because, well, it's fun. Skill power 1,810 for my little Reinforcer healthy deal. Then 2,686 skill power for the Seeker, which I would like to get to 3,000 because I want to use my mods. But like I said, I'm going to make another version of this build that isn't using nothing but named gear and the pestilence, because that's one of the things that was driving me mad about recording this. Is like, I don't want to use all this gear that not everybody's going to be able to get, because even for me with those 2 name pieces, I have yet to see another one of either of them. So I don't know. And then the pestilence and that whole business of, I know a lot of people don't have that, especially PVE players. I actually got really lucky when I got mine. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, that's it for the build. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section down below, what you would change, what you would like to see on the version that I'm going to build, because it might go the AR route just so I can get some extra talents on it. So I don't know. Well, I'll have to see how it all works out. But yeah, that's all I got. Hit the old like button for me if you could. Actually, you should hit the like button because this is under 10 minutes for a build. I believe this is miraculous and a new YouTube record. Subscribe and all that other junk, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace!